everyone, and happy Saturday. My name is Callie, and this is another weekend of Clarinets, Cats, and Coffee. In today's video, I am going to share a few tips with you on how to make your fast technique clean and fast. The app that you just heard me play this with, by the way, is called the Tomplay app, and I absolutely love it. There's a ton of repertoire on there and pop songs and all kinds of stuff, but I never do the pop songs, but the repertoire is a good time. They're doing a big promotion right now for the next few days, and so if you don't already have the annual subscription, click on the link below, give it a try, and get a huge discount if you want to try it out. And before we get into tips and tricks and things, I want to say thank you to all of my patrons and members for supporting my channel. If you're not already supporting my channel, I have links below where you can join Patreon and get lots of cool perks, including getting the excerpts for the Saturday videos ahead of time. All right, so we all know that we have to start slow when it comes to practicing stuff that's supposed to be fast, right? So you want to start with that. You just want to learn the patterns, get it in your fingers. Once you have that down, I highly recommend trying to really feel the rhythm in your fingers, okay? So I kind of like to just do the key clicky thing and just kind of really feel it. By doing that, I can really internalize how it feels and match up in my head what I know it's supposed to sound like, but it can also expose different fingers that may want to rush or drag without blowing our chops out. So we eliminate the coordinating of fingers and playing, and we just listen to our fingers. So I find that really helpful to do. So once you know the notes and once you know the fingerings and you've got a good idea of the rhythm, you want to practice this with a metronome. Now, if you do this method that I'm about to tell you, I promise fast technique is going to come so much more easily to you, but it does require some work, okay? Say you want to learn this passage in a week, okay? Up to whatever tempo you can physically work it up to, okay? So you choose a starting tempo to start at every single day you practice this for a week. So I'm going to say my starting tempo is 60. Now I can play it a lot faster, just kind of straight up without a metronome than 60, but I choose 60 because it means I'm going to get a whole bunch of really easy reps in before I start pushing my tempo faster and faster. So set the metronome at 60 every single time I practice this, every day for a whole week. Once I play the page down or the passage down at 60, then I move it up 2 clicks. Then I play it again, 2 more clicks, and I play it again. If I get to a tempo that is a teeny bit too hard, and for me, I listen for, making sure my fingers are even. I try to be aware of my body and try to find points of tension, because that is going to come up when you start going faster, right? So you don't want any tension in your playing. You don't want any unevenness in your slow playing. You want it to sound easy, relaxed, and effortless. Hi, Luke. So if you get to a tempo that has you stumped, just stay at that tempo for the rest of your practice session and make it sound really good, okay? Let's say you set aside 15 minutes to work on this, okay? Once your 15 minutes is up, whatever tempo you got to that day is wherever it stays. The next day, you review all the tempos you did the day before, and then you try to go a teeny bit further. And chances are you'll be able to go a little bit more every day when you review the tempos you did from the previous days, right? So by the time a week comes around, you're able to play this at whatever your top speed is, and it's going to be so much more comfortable, and it's not going to be scary or frantic or anything. It's going to be easy. Now, there are some, mental things that I do to kind of change my perspective of how I play a passage that may be difficult for me to get down. So I'm going to use the one measure with this little run in it. because my ring finger sometimes doesn't want to lift from the B to the D, okay? So I will isolate that little chunk and I'll accent the D and play everything else kind of soft. Now this is just a practice technique, but it kind of like changes how I think of it, and it kind of like imprints the right coordination, right? And then I'll speed it up, and eventually I will remove the accent because that's going to sound weird when you perform it like that, but it does kind of give my brain a little bit of an anchor, and by having the uncomfortable note then become the comfortable note, it just makes it so much easier. Now, let's say I've been working on this for a couple of weeks and I'm pushing up the tempo faster and faster and faster, and it starts to get like, and you're like, and you're like, oh man, this is like so fast. Okay, I like to try to switch gears in my head, and instead of thinking of it as like 1, 2, 3, I think of it in cut time. And by doing that, my brain is like, oh, this isn't fast, it's slow. I like this slow tempo. And then I just like put my fingers right in and line it up, okay? You could really only get to that point when you're really like pushing your tempo to the max, okay? So it's just kind of like a little mental trick to make fast enough not seem as scary. All right, guys, so those are some of my little mental tricks that I like to do and different preparation techniques that I will implement whenever I am working on music that is supposed to be played very fast eventually. So if you guys have any tips or tricks, please leave them in the comments below. There are so many other things out there. I know, like practice rhythms and things like that, which I haven't addressed here in this short video, but I would love to hear from you and your input to the comments below, because a lot of people read these and it would be very helpful. So I'm looking forward to hearing you guys play this on the Facebook group, so don't forget, you can share the weekly excerpts there, and I hope you have a good weekend, a good week next week, and as always, happy practicing. Thank you.